Dallas Goedert, or Philly Goddard, as some Eagles fans have affectionately started calling him, was one of the better receiving tight ends in the NFL draft. He has excellent catch radius, he worked all three levels of the field, and he did a great job tracking the ball over his shoulder. Standing at 6'5" and 256 pounds, he was a man amongst boys. He was bigger, stronger, and longer than everybody else. The coaches did such a fantastic job designing their playbook around his strengths. He lined up in the slot, but also inline as a tight end or split outside as a receiver. His route tree wasn't limited either. In my opinion, the Eagles got an instant contributor for their team. My favorite trait that I saw on tape was his ability to track the ball over his shoulder. Honestly, it shocked me by how well he did it. If you remember in the Super Bowl, those lobbed passes that Nick Foles placed over the shoulder of his receiver, that's what Goddard can bring to this team. Now, I also mentioned catch radius, and that allowed him to make some great grabs that shouldn't have been caught either. For his weaknesses and why I didn't give him a first-round grade is based on his route running. He doesn't fully open his stride, and he's not subtle at all with head fakes or using quickness to get open. He also doesn't vary his speed down the field in order to create separation. Now, he'll do well against zone defenses and definitely in the red zone, but I am worried about good coverage linebackers and hybrid safeties. Moving on as a run blocker, he's extremely inconsistent at the point of attack. Now, this wasn't only from a technique standpoint, but also in his effort. At times, he'll dominate and you'll finish the play through the whistle, but other times he'll get completely thrown aside by a smaller defender. It was so snap-by-snap dependent, I had no idea what was going on. Now, he definitely has potential with his body size and his length and strength, but this level of inconsistency really bothered me. For the Eagles, I think he'll be great at creating angles in their pin-pull zones or power tosses, but he needs to improve on his inconsistency. Finally, and for his pro comparison, some see him as the next Zach Ertz, but I see him as the next Hunter Henry. Henry was drafted 2 years ago out of Arkansas and has already been a huge difference maker for the Chargers. Goddard was absolutely blessed by getting picked by Doug Pederson and the Eagles, and based on his traits, I think he'd be a really good fit for this team. I'm both equally pumped and terrified by what he'll do on the field. In my opinion, if he can improve on his consistency in run blocking and his route running, he'll become a premier all-around tight end in the NFL. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to support the channel, go ahead and click on the link to my Patreon account below. As always, you can also find me on Twitter at Samuel R. Gold.